It is Rooster Teeth Reviews, and we're going to be talking about the RWBY manga. We're going to be talking about this, as well as some of the other headlines that have been across the... that's us. Shut up, self. I'm professional. It's Rooster Teeth Reviews, and it starts right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Rooster Teeth Reviews right here on AfterBuzz Animation, and I'm bewitched by the flashing lights in the studio. Welcome to the show. We're going to be getting right into good intro. Thanks, everybody. I'm one of your hosts for the evening. The internet's Mark B. Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. That's Megan Salinas.
Hey, guys. You guys can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin, and I wish I had glow sticks.
That's Stacey Shuttleworth.
Hey guys, you can find me all over the web at Stacey Shuttles.
And that's Katie Cullen.
Hi, my buddies. You can follow me all over the social medias at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet.
So before I was so rudely interrupted by myself, what an asshole. I was trying to get across that these in between after show weeks are sort of, we want to help to become a one-stop shop of discussion of some of the big headlines in the world of Rooster Teeth, whether they directly involve the company or an animated franchise or a live-action franchise. So a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be getting to the manga as our main event. But there's some other stuff that they've been announcing that I think is worth talking about. So a lot of people, Katie, wishing you a happy Ash Wednesday.
Thank you, my dear.
Yeah, we're getting Easter anyway. There's a lot of random things pulled here and there that we're just going to discuss as a community, as the Rooster Teeth community, and we hope to continue the being the middle anchor between the website and the community as we have been for the past couple of years. So the first thing that I wanted to bring up was it's been in alpha. Now it's in beta, the new version of the Rooster Teeth website that's essentially Hulu. Has anybody had a chance to really check it out or try it? The beta started a couple of days ago.
I haven't checked out the beta yet.
Okay.
Nor have I.
So here's what's up. They have live chat on all streams. One of the things that sort of kept me from watching some of my favorite Rooster Teeth enterprises, whether that's Funhouse, Achievement Hunter, Sugar Pine 7, any of that, has been the fact that YouTube saves where I am. And I can come back to some of the longer videos at some point here and there.
That save feature is a lifesaver.
and now coming to the Rooster Teeth website is being able to save your spot so you can go back at any time. A better search, which is something that I think the website has needed for quite some time, and we know you've been working on it. We love you. As well as similarly to Netflix, to Hulu, you have a watch list. You have better playlisting as well, where things actually start and play in order instead of backwards order, and then having promos in the middle of it, blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of stuff that you can do without having to go across extra pages. It's all right there on the homepage. And if you go right now, it should be a big old picture of Bernie Burns. What do we all think about this beta?
I am super stoked for the pick up where you left off video feature, especially since I listen to a lot of videos while I'm at work. And so, for example, long Twitch video on demands will just pick up right where I left off because it recognizes my account. Rooster Teeth doing that for some of their longer videos, thank God.
As I would say, especially for their docs, even though they're no longer than like 30-40 minutes, it's nice to be like, I watched the most recent one, the Becoming Jessica Negri one, and I moved from my computer to the television, and I had to scrub through and find where it was, and
even just their longer Let's Plays, and I'm blanking on the name of the show, but Miles's sponsor only.
Backwards compatible.
That's what I thought it was, and then
With
my
a
brain
Z,
went,
though.
no, you're wrong. So, yeah. Backwards compatible can be 30-40 minutes at a stretch, so that's really nice.
Stacey, have you had a chance to try the beta out?
I haven't tried it out yet, but I was, reading through, and yes, the being able to pick up where you left off is a huge thing. More streamlined playlist is also really helpful.
Yeah, that's always been one of my issues, whether it's YouTube, but not even just Rooster Teeth, but just in general, is to be able to, maybe I don't, is everything still on Netflix?
Everything? As in, the RWBY and Red versus Blue?
Yeah.
because I watch mostly on the DVDs and the site, I haven't checked Netflix in a while,
Well,
but
that's
I
the thing,
can.
because you can get the digital stream of the theatrical cut without having to deal with a disc. So
Yeah.
instead of that, getting an improved playlist would help. And I'm really looking forward to this going to 1.0. And as soon as that goes out, they'll probably start developing the next version of the website.
Yeah.
But as of right now, when you hit community, it still goes back to the old version of the site, which is something that happened with the last iteration of the website as well. Either way, excite.
Yeah, I definitely like waiting for the beta period to be over before I dive headfirst into something. I don't necessarily like being a beta tester, but I'm excited because it's been really fun watching the Rooster Teeth website evolve over the years. Like, I still remember their interface from my freshman year of college.
Oh no, that website was rough.
It really was. And so it's been great seeing them evolve, and yeah, a better, more intuitive user interface is something that's been needed for a little bit. But again, watching the progression has been very interesting, and so it's nice to hear that they're taking the next step.
Agreed. Let us know if you've taken part in the beta. We want to know your thoughts down below or on Twitter. Just contact us at ABTV Rooster Team on Twitter. That's where we at. Going into the world of gaming a little bit, something that Gus announced on the website was a new partnership with Full Sail Gaming. Full Sail is a technical school that works for live production, video production, music production, game production, and they announced that Brian Riley, who's one of the main producers at RT Games, a man that we've interviewed a couple of times at RTX, really nice guy, great guy. Chad James from Screw Attack and Alfredo Diaz from Achievement Hunter, as well as Gus, are going to be are in the forefront. They attended the Hall of Fame event today. There was a live stream today too that I caught a bit of, where we got to see a little bit of the game. But they're sort of co-producing a student project known as Super 80s Fighter Project. That, quote Gus, is totally as radical and tubular as it sounds. But they're going to be working with these students to develop this game, and it's going to be finished and playable at RTX. The director of the project today did say that this turnaround is only supposed to be 3 to 4 months, and fighters are really difficult to program, so this will hopefully be a really nice beta test for RTX. I'm a big fighting game fan. I don't know about y'all. What do we think about this fighter?
I think it sounds absolutely radical. No, I don't.
Tubular.
Both
Indeed.
radical and tubular.
Porque no los dos. But I'm with you, Mark. I'm a huge fighting game fan. That's one of the only games that like I can actually do marginally well at because I'm totally a button masher.
How dare.
I'm a filthy casual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
How dare all!
You play
It's
Grim
fun
Eclipse
that
with
way.
all of us. You
That's not a
know
fighting game. That's
this.
Dynasty Warriors.
Okay, but button mashing
But button
still
mashing.
applies.
But like
Or rapid
I was
clicking.
telling Stacey before we went off that I spent a good chunk of the weekend playing Pokken Tournament with my brothers.
Nice. The
It
new
wa-
one for Switch? Very cool.
It was very pretty.
Beautiful.
So like I said, I'm curious as to what the characters are going to be, whether it's 2D like Blue Blaze is going to be, or if it's gonna be 3D.
Blade Blue.
Blade Blue. Ugh.
It's okay.
Oh.
That thing.
So I'm interested, like, what type of fighting game, and because the 80s is thrown in there, I'm inclined to think it's something like Street Fighter, but I'm not. I don't know. There's not a ton.
They just announced some of the details today, where the levels are going to be 2D but multi-tier, to where you can
Okay.
knock people up and down, but it's going to be on a 2D plane.
Guilty Gear, then.
Guilty Gear plus Tekken, because Tekken you can cross a couple of planes, but. Stacey, what do you think about the Super 80s Fighter Project?
Look, man, if they're describing it as radical and totally tubular, I want this to be super campy. Like, the campier, the better, and bring it on.
I want, like, pixel art.
Have you?
That's what I want in my life.
Have you guys seen Gravity Falls? Has everybody
That's
at this
exactly
table
what I'm
seen
thinking
Gravity
of.
Falls? Yeah. What was that game
Punch
called?
Mix Something Fist?
Fight Fighters. Was
Fight
that what-
Fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm picturing.
Yeah, no, I want it. It's
Into
yes.
Yeah,
This
totally.
is as still as I can move.
It's idle animation. Yeah. So not only is this partnership for this particular game, but it's also Full Sail is going to be a sponsor of Indie Alley at RTX this year, and they're going to be bringing the Full Sail mobile experience, which is going to be a big truck with a whole bunch of gimmicks and gear and giveaways, I'm sure. And they're going to try to figure out a way to get some fresh blood into the university, which a couple people from AfterBuzz have spent time at Full Sail University, and I know Full Sail from Rumble McSkirmish. Thank you, Malachroma. And a couple of, and I know Full Sail also does some work with the WWE, and I'm familiar with some of the work that they do between the two of them. It's a wonderful program, and I'm excited that another one of my favorite production companies is utilizing the genius that is the Full Sail community.
Here.
Yeah, we're doing it. This one's really quick. They announced the date and location of RTX London. It is going to be at XL London, September 15th and 16th of this year, 2018. All of our UK listeners and all of the UK Rooster Teeth fans, last year seemed to be pretty successful. This year we'll hope to be pretty successful too. So, who at the table's going?
I definitely know some people who are.
No, I mean like presently here of the four of us, who's going? We're doing press. Send us money. What? You can,
To say that's gonna be quite the crowd fund.
you can find our PayPal. No, I'm just kidding.
Our Patreon.
Our Patreon, which is just send us to London.
Wouldn't that be a Kickstarter?
Yeah,
no,
I guess
that'd be a GoFundMe.
GoFundMe.
Yeah.
For
Fund
sure.
me. Yeah. No, I'm
All
pretty
these different
sure-
terms that mean the same thing. You were saying.
Oh, I think I've only got one trip to London in me to pay for this year, and that's my limit.
Oh, that's right. I forgot
I'm
you're
already
going.
doing that.
Are you
So,
going to London?
yeah, I'm a couple months ahead. So, wouldn't it be something if I was there during this though?
Oh,
That would be
fantastic.
amazing.
That would have timed out perfectly.
Well, that was sort of like
Disappointing.
when my wife and I planned our honeymoon. We went and went, oh, the Star Wars convention is happening at the same time. Honey, can we please go at the same time?
Please.
Bring me back some Ben's cookies, pretty
Yeah, I was
please.
gonna say, please
on
bring
it.
cookies.
I will do it.
That's it.
I
I want booze.
sadly
I don't
can't-
think you've ever had Ben's cookies, Mark.
I don't think you've ever had booze.
I'm Irish, so
I wish I could go to RTX London because one, it's been way too many years since I have been across the pond, and two, it would be nice to meet up with some friends who make the long trek all the way down to RTX and only come to America for that event. So it would be nice to see them too.
And you know who went to RTX London, just as a quick promo?
Yes!
Is our friend 24-Hour Call Center. They are
Yeah.
currently, they have an equivalent of a GoFundMe. They're a longtime fan, listener of the show, and we want to try to help out. And they need a new wheelchair. If you go to 24-Hour Call Center on Twitter, it is their top posted tweet. Please spread the word. Do what you can. We're trying to support them as much as we can as random stupid internet hosts, but we want to thank them for everything that they've done for us, and showing the power of the community is one of those ways. So please give what you can. Share if you can't give, share. Somebody might be able to.
Yeah,
and that Twitter is 24HRCALLCENTRE. So, yes.
And
the UK way.
if you follow the Rooster Team Twitter, we've already tweeted out the information, but we will tweet it out again after the show
Yes.
for anybody who hasn't seen it yet.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I felt like I interrupted you, Katie, with that. Were you going to say something about
No,
London?
I just wanted to give the Twitter to make sure that people were able to find it.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Please support and give what you can. We're excited about London. Hey, so last week we were talking a lot about RWBY, so there wasn't really any place for this, but there was a new trailer released for Nomad of Nowhere. We're going to take a quick little bit of a look at this Twitter exclusive Twitter. I'll say Twitter one more time.
Twitter exclusive?
Let's take a look.
I am just so ridiculously excited for this show.
That
I don't
love the
have
color
words.
palette.
color,
Oh, it's so nice.
Yes. And the music.
it's like a Western episode of Samurai Jack. It's so pretty.
It's going to be very Texan. You see a lone figure walking across and fall. readjust
Such
themselves.
grace.
Needs a
Themselves, dust them
silhouetted.
off. Just give a little bit of a wave. And claps off the sky.
Because why not?
Nomad of nowhere.
This is...
I'm so excited.
How much do you think they're going to give us before the show? Because we're under a month and we know nothing.
I feel like
like
that's
that.
pretty much all we're getting.
Yeah,
I hope so.
I think they want us to go in blind, and I am perfectly fine with that.
There's some... Like, the art style is really interesting. I don't remember who said it, but in chat, people were talking about how sort of fast and loose Sex Swing was, and we didn't cover that on this show, not for any reason in particular, other than... Anyway. That
was when we were still doing individual shows for everything, and so
Yeah.
it was a matter of finding another time and finding people to do it,
Exactly.
and just like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
The format of the show has changed.
Yeah, and
Yes.
if we had done it back then, you know, us being in LA and having close proximity to Funhouse, we probably could have gotten some of the folks in. But that didn't happen. Regardless, the humor of that show, it was absolutely wild, crazy, off color, a little sexual, blah blah blah. And because we know so little about Nomad of Nowhere, I was just wondering if anybody has any wild predictions about what type of show this is. Katie, I want to start with you.
They said it was going to be a little Western and a little Samurai Jack, and honestly, just because this is the way that my brain is wired and has been wired for the past 15 years, I'm kind of getting Trigun vibes. It's a Western, it's magic, it's got things that aren't quite explained. Yes, I know Trigun doesn't have magic, you don't need to explain that to me. But we're taking the Western framework and we're reworking it in a new way for new characters and a new premise. And that is my jam. I'm in. I am super excited. I was excited the second they showed us the rocks. Like those little animated rocks. I was down.
And both you and Malachroma in chat bring up a good point. So the stuff with the rocks, we saw a clap and magic happened. And there we saw a clap and the sky turned off. While
yeah,
that could be a
it's gonna
simple, while it could be a simple editing trick, Malachroma's prediction is that clapping is how the magic is activated. Yay or nay?
Oh, absolutely.
I definitely feel like, yeah, it could be kind of a Full Metal Alchemist thing. Like Roy Mustang, he always snaps when he ignites his alchemy, and he science it, but that's basically, you know, he snaps and his power gets activated. That's kind of how the vibe I'm getting from that is clap on, clap off for magic.
Yeah, it seems like we're headed that way.
And any other predictions, Stacey or Megan, for Nomad?
I think we're gonna get some unexpected silliness in. I mean, you know, from this trailer, it's gonna be in a very serious, but oh no, we're very silly kind of way.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting some of those Trigun vibes for sure. I'm kind of wondering if it's not going to be a little bit Looney Tunes as well, because, you know, this is about a nomad, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe there was a bounty on his head. So you're going to get lots of bounty hunters chasing this definitely magical guy. And so I could definitely see a lot of slapstick scenarios ensuing when you have one guy with magic and everybody else is trying to get a hold of him.
Trigun.
Gonna be
I just...
so a lot of procedural bounty hunter of the week sort of thing, possibly.
For I feel like maybe the first couple episodes, I don't know what kind of overarching storyline we can expect, or if it is going to be more like creature of the week, so to speak.
Yeah.
Where there's a bounty hunter to deal with and then some sort of magical element. I mean, maybe that's the whole premise of the show, is this nomad is trying to restore magic to this Western world he resides in.
And that he's the last magical creature around.
Or he's
Hence the bounty.
Or he's trying to go back in time and stop a coup from ravaging the land. I'm
No
not
idea
sure.
what you're talking about.
No.
But I do wonder if we're gonna get anybody to the lengths of Scaramouche. Scaramouche-esque characters. If we're talking silly, if we're talking bounty hunters, I don't know. If
Yes,
Nomad,
babe.
I don't know if Nomad can beat Scaramouche when it comes to silly bounty hunters.
I don't think you have to beat him, though. I just think you have to join him.
Can we pick
Do
him
your own
up
fun stuff.
from Samurai Jack and inject him into the world?
Just call Tom Kenny and send him to Austin.
Is he one of the Texas voice actors, or is he a part of a different union?
I think he's in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I am not sure.
But it's not unlike Rooster Teeth if it's a comedy thing, if it's a silly thing, just to parody.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I don't know how you parody Scaramouche.
He is a parody.
Exactly. So you make him the serious version of that. Or
at least less evil.
I would like to see a RWBY, the franchise RWBY parody of a character that has something that's also a gun, but it doesn't work. Like they're trying, they try to make a weapon that's like, I'm gonna make this thing a gun too, and it never works their way. And
Like
The gun. It
Yeah.
works as a gun, but not as a gun.
Or like a Final Fantasy style gun sword,
Gunblade.
and it like the second they try to fire it, they're like, ah,
it ricochets out of their own hand, something like that. Or the gun never has any ammo,
the
something like
chamber
that.
completely falls apart.
It shatters the blade.
Greek Goddess 2.0 says this Nomad might be harmless, maybe a pacifist. If anything, they'd only be defensive. That's
I like that
absolutely a
idea, too.
possibility. Yeah.
Doing nothing to lessen my Trigon vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely don't get the vibe of, it being a very, combat heavy on our Nomad's part. From the very little that we've gotten. But
I'm expecting a lot of running.
yeah.
I don't think a guy who can summon magical rocks or give life to the creatures around him or is in tune with nature in that way. Yeah, I don't see him being the aggressor in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what a better way to show off magic than being somebody who's super aggressive? That's why we need to get rid of magic, because this person's a killer.
He might be in his past.
Wouldn't it be funny if he turns into a bird and flies away and he's like, wow, they really are magic.
They do exist. We're excited about Nomad of Nowhere. We're going to be talking about it right here on Rooster Teeth Reviews when we switch back to our next after show sort of format. But hey, Megan, you were pretty excited about some news.
I was.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about where South by Southwest and Rooster Teeth's presence there?
Okay, so if we hop into the Wayback Machine and go back to RTX of 2017, Rooster Teeth made an announcement that they were working on a horror comedy called Bloodfest. And I just about lost my mind because they had done such a great job with Laser Team, and then they announced that one of their next features besides Laser Team 2 was going to be this horror comedy, and I was just super excited. So earlier, it was either last week or earlier this week, they made the announcement that Bloodfest will have its world premiere at South by Southwest, which is March, I want to say. I don't know which day it's premiering, but the South by Southwest Film Festival, I believe, is going to be March 9th through the 13th. So
soon.
Like I've
soon.
got the whole press release here, and it doesn't say anything about date, just that it's going to happen.
Yeah, and that it's going to be available, on the first website, if I scroll further down. But we get a little bit more plot synopsis than we had previously gotten in the past, and this is what the press release had to say about the plot. In Bloodfest, fans flock to a festival celebrating the most iconic horror movies, only to discover that the charismatic showman behind the event has a diabolical agenda. As festival attendees start dying off, three teenagers, more schooled in horror film cliches than practical knowledge about neutralizing psycho killers, must band together and battle through various madmen and monstrosities to survive. I am so excited about this.
Why is that? You like horror movies? Megan, do you like horror movies?
I dabble in horror a little bit.
It sounds a little bit like Scream. I'm in.
There was a film that came out starring Robert Englund that came out about a year ago, which was about a horror nights, like a Universal Horror Nights.
The Funhouse Massacre.
Yes, the Funhouse Massacre. This kind of sounds like that. It's a group of people getting ready to enjoy their horror movie festivity or their horror movie event of the year, and it just goes completely off the rails, and horrible things start happening, and people start dying, and it's a bloodbath, and it's great, and everybody's happy.
See, I love that Barb is in this, and we essentially have an evil convention organizer. she helped run RTX for years.
They're interesting cast members. Zachary Levi is going to be in this as well.
No kidding.
Nick Rutherford, who's returning from Crunch Time. Jacob Batalon, I hope I'm saying that right, but he was the co-star of Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Robbie Kay, like you said, Tate Donovan. So yeah, really good cast.
A lot of people, I mean, it's Rooster Teeth, and people are starting to recognize the pull and attraction of being a part of this digital community. I think it's just smart business moves all around.
Yes.
Oh, it just makes me very happy.
God.
It's almost like you have a preference.
Yeah. Man, I don't...
I'm considering buying like a South by Southwest ticket just so I can go and see this movie.
Dude, they're expensive.
That's why I can't.
In chat, Fatman says, Fat Batman, I'm sorry, says, Megan's smile while talking about killing and blood was great. I mean, if you ever watch us on Silver Screams...
Do the show from over here.
Marcus inching away slowly.
Keep an eye on you.
It'll be fun.
The death part.
All of the death part. It's gonna be so great.
Such a happy fun time.
Well, like, my favorite type of horror is horror comedy. Like the Evil Dead franchise, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, Scream, the meta commentary stuff, Cabin in the Woods, the meta commentary stuff along with horror comedy. That's where I'm happiest when I'm watching my horror. So, I'm really excited. Rooster Teeth, in terms of their features, has not let me down as of yet. So I'm looking forward to it.
This seems like a regular Buckets of Blood B-movie sort of thing, where they're going to try to get a couple of scares in there. But as you brought up the Funhouse Massacre, check that out, because it's a friend of the show here, Ben Bagley Jr., was the director and writer with his wife on that, and I got to talk to them a lot about it, and it was a labor of love, because they love the horror genre as well. So, and also getting Robert Englund, I mean, what the hell?
Oh my gosh.
Jiminy Christmas. Apparently our lag is back. Deal with it, live audience. Anyway, Katie, you wanted to talk about this tweet from Bethany.
I did. I saw this on Twitter today because I live there. And she announced that it is Rooster Teeth's Year of Community, that she and Chelsea Atkinson and the events team are cooking up some fun ideas around RTX Austin that celebrate the community. More info in coming weeks. So, keep an eye out for that. I'm super stoked for that. Always looking forward to RTX, and hearing more community-focused events is just like, sign me up.
What do you think it is?
Oh, I have no idea.
Do you have a pie in the sky thing of what they would do for because they set up all of the Achievement Hunter Minecraft things, and back before they destroyed the Warthog, they have a lot of stuff that can allow fans post production to feel like they're a part of the world. So what more do you think they can do?
I'm wondering if, because it's community focused, if they aren't going to facilitate a lot of community meetups, for one, and if they're not going to do, I don't know, meet and greets.
We already have meet and greets. People have to pay for those. So
I know.
Interesting.
I haven't had a lot of time or brain power to put into this one, but I am very interested.
Stacey, what do you want to see, or what are you thinking? Year of Community. What does that mean to you?
I mean, aside from, kind of trying to get maybe meetups leading up to the event in different areas, kind of seeing, I don't know, like really out there, but organizing people who might, I know most of the talent is Austin-based, but for people who aren't, maybe setting up meet and greets in that area, or community events where they go to, locations.
So like a mini RTXs at some of the major communal hubs around the United States.
Not even like full out RTXs, but like, you know, we've got the local Guildhall bar, stuff like that, where you go to a place and just even smaller scale like that. You know, places to come together and eat and just hang out or something like that.
Yeah.
Could you imagine trying to fit all of the Los Angeles Rooster Teeth fans into Guildhall?
Local
Guildhall,
humor.
as much as we love it, is not a huge establishment.
It's a little tiny place.
Like, this would be like a Dave and Buster's style meetup where
Yeah.
we have room to move.
I think
Or like Club Nokia.
I'm gonna put a prediction out there.
Do it.
Rooster Teeth production themed escape rooms.
Yeah, sure.
Hey.
They dabbled, so why not expand on that?
Well, they already did. Last year they did the Achievement Hunter escape room that was themed to the Grand Theft Auto.
At RTX,
Yeah,
At RTX, true.
Extending it to the other properties.
Yeah.
A RWBY escape room.
I
A red
want-
versus blue escape
All of the
room.
I
clues
want a
are written
red-
by Caboose.
Yeah, I want a red versus blue escape room that functions on moon logic.
It's Caboose and Donut just trying to get out of a room. It's not even like
And
a
Doc.
prison
Let's
cell.
throw Doc in
and
there,
Doc
too.
in there too. O'Malley coming in every once in a while.
Fantastic.
God dang it. But I think that would be
I want
cool,
it.
sort of like how the Attack on Titan room toured, the Legend of Zelda room toured. If there was an escape room tour. True, Ruby Chibi had an escape room. Then maybe that's the tease.
Clues are all there.
Oh my God!
We're solving the first puzzle.
Illuminati confirmed.
I think if this is the year of the community, I think there's going to be some like pop-up reward stuff. I've seen WWE do this stuff yearly at WrestleMania time. They have somebody's like, hey, I'm at like for example, if they're in our area, hey, I figure out where I am, and you get two front row tickets to WrestleMania.
That's
so
awesome.
as a result, that mobilizes the community to go into the city and explore the city. Or
Are you
I know
thinking
this
like
city,
some
I know where that
ARG
is.
stuff as well?
I mean, and we already kind of got that with Murder at the RTX,
Yeah.
where they send people all around the city. So it's another culmination of some sort of connectivity where if you're on your app at the right time and Haxon says go to room 2A on the 3rd floor and you get a Ruby shirt, or you get Anna Hullum to customize a cosplay outfit for you because you're in the right place, or something where if you're at RTX you're gonna get something cool from being a part of the community, or if you're out of state or out of the area, they'll have something for you as well. What do you want to see from the year of the community? It just started because Bethany just said it started. So that means we're on Chinese New Year rules, and it will end February of next year.
Well, Sam Green wants to hurt me. Death Fridge escape room. Wash never left.
Oh,
Sad.
It's okay. He left the murder fridge and then promptly got shot. But he's fine.
But it's okay. It's fine. It's all better now.
Something to unlock. Raul Bastidas says Maiden Vault escape room. So something
in.
where you have to figure out a way to open up a vault to get one
the
of the
relic.
relics.
And you can only go in groups of 4.
Something like that.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
All right, so I like this version of the show where we talk about some of the happenings in the Rooster Teeth world, but we advertised that we were going to be talking about the damn RWBY manga, and 3 of the 4 of us have the physical copies here, so we're going to talk about the damn RWBY manga. If you didn't have a chance to read it, I didn't want to burp into the microphone. It's Valentine's Day. You don't need that in your life, but
I mean, they're already here.
I mean, arguably. Whether they want to be or not. And we appreciate you.
Are we holding our audience hostage?
Yes.
Mark hasn't showed that.
Yeah. But yeah, whether you've read it or not, we're going to be talking about the RWBY manga. It's not like they don't introduce a lot of like new. It's not like a spoiler for season 6.
No.
They take some of the stories that we do know, add a little bit of flavor, add a little bit of pepper, and give us some new experiences. Just off the bat, the new arts, the art style that Viz Media went with for the team is really cool. I really dig it.
Gorgeous. I think Picking up this manga made me realize how long it's been since I grabbed a graphic novel and actually just sat down and read it in one go. And the art style on here, there's a little bit of like pacing issues and things like that, but like the art style in and of itself is really cool, and it's really awesome to see RWBY in another art style. And again, given that RWBY is a Western animation inspired by anime and manga, it's really cool to see a manga come from that and see how the art style changes when it goes from medium to medium.
Especially just the how Japanese the designs have become, and recognizing other characters in Yang's design and how her hair is more wild and free, and how
more Super Saiyan.
Yeah,
for
Super
sure.
Saiyan.
There is one panel.
It's like very overtly Super Saiyan.
Like, okay, not only did we go there, we live there now.
No, that was.
And the tall slenderness of Ozpin.
I was gonna say, out of all the characters, in terms of how everybody sort of got a little bit of a makeover, Oz was the one where I stepped away and went,
Oz works in this.
Oz works.
My issue with the art style is that we went full on fan service for Yang, even more so than some of her outfits in the show, and it's just like, oh, I thought we'd escaped that.
And also, just as a logistics thing, not as any like something. I think Blake is a little over sexualized. Like on the back cover, you can even see.
That's not even
in the show. She just anatomically doesn't have those boobs. so to do like it's like the weird Captain America, like giant muscle, like weird pose.
The
comic book
Liefeld.
cover. Yeah, the Liefeld. It's like the manga version of the Liefeld, where it's just like, well, that's not that. Okay, these are different interpretations of these characters.
Nobody's back is broken though. Like
No.
this is like a
Shiromura,
Western.
he can draw feet. He understands anatomy. Like we're definitely a few steps up from the Liefeld, but the overt sexualization bothered me in a way that it doesn't always in manga, because the show is usually really good at not doing that.
To take one from you that you take from Doug Walker, for kids.
RWBY has stopped being, for kids about 2.5 seasons ago.
Sure. But specifically, just to evoke another show, Yang and Blake look like Panty and Stocking from Panty and Stocking and Garden.
I thought
it's
that
the hair.
looked kind of
It's
familiar.
like specifically the hair. She looks like Gothic Lolita,
Which is kind of fitting because it's a Western property that's inspired by Japanese animation, and then Japanese animation that's inspired by a Western property. It's animation inception.
Yeah,
They'll just meet in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, both. That's what Panty and Stocking is basically anime Powerpuff Girls, but not for children. And so that's a great comparison, Mark.
Were there any other character designs that leapt out at anybody?
I loved Nora's kind of anime style design.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Like the way that they kind of changed her hair to be kind of the more typical, I don't know, like badass girl. Like was.
Honestly, I love the treatment of the Grimm. I especially loved that weird new little build your own chimera Grimm that we got in there. Like, beware the tiny ones. It's like with scorpions. If you see a big scorpion, they're probably not terribly poisonous. But if you see a tiny scorpion, you might want to leave.
Chimera, because we get the Geist in later seasons, but this Chimera Grimm, that's something I would actually love to see in the show proper. I know that the manga isn't necessarily canon, but Miles and Carrie have also said that it's not canon.
Canon until it's contradicted in the show.
Canon adjacent.
My only real complaint, and this is a super nitpicky thing, because again, this is sort of, as you said, canon adjacent. My only real nitpick is that how cavalier about magic they are. They state very early on, magic is a thing, and in this season and in the previous season, magic was treated almost like a taboo. Like the Raven and Crow's ability to turn into birds is something that's unnatural and unsettling. The maiden's powers are supposed to be really dangerous because they alter the natural world around them. And so to just have this book go, magic is great, and we're here for magic and friendship. Like, that was a little weird to me, just right off the bat.
That threw me out right away. I was like, wait a second.
I feel like that was a localization choice because Miles and Carrie were working with a translator, when they were creating this manga. And then, Viz is localization team working with Suecia. That's it getting translated from one language to another and then back into English. So it's a little bit of like Google Translate going on with some things, I think.
Did they quite mean magic in the way that we traditionally understand? Yeah. Or was that just, well, that's what everyone who's going to read this is going to understand, so that's fine for this.
Malachroma says, the official stance on the manga is it's canon unless it contradicts the show.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So,
magic.
Magic.
50%. Like, I love that we augmented what were essentially the 4 trailers that we got before the show started. That we got some dialogue, that we got some motivation. What we had for Weiss was fantastic.
By far the best part of the book.
But I will say, you had mentioned, well, nobody's breaking their backs. What the hell is this pose?
Never mind.
This Weiss pose?
Never mind.
That's just like,
I lied.
Excuse me?
I
Anyway.
lied.
It's not nearly as boobs and butt as a lot of other poses.
She's still got that like crazy curvature.
Xenomorph is coming out of her chest.
It turns out glyphs aren't her semblance, the ability to contort her body is.
The elastic spine is. Her aura is slowly healing the back damage.
She can turn off her pain receptor. She actually has Hazel's semblance.
Malachroma brought this up. At one point, Yang yelling, "What have you done to the laws of physics?" Like, excuse me, that's the show. That's it. That's the show.
Nailed it.
That was really great.
Should have trusted myself. I've been looking up what the name of a character from Bleach was because Orihime. Nope.
Orihime?
Not Orihime. Because Nora reminded me of Orihime's friend Tatsuki. Who's just like this pro athlete, kick the hell out of Ichigo despite being a superpowered god of death from another dimension.
Yeah, she just likes beating
half
people
from
up.
another dimension. She just likes beating people up.
Tatsuki
But still, that young, exuberant sportiness it is what Nora reminds me of. Anybody really? I was also really digging Penny. In jet mode was really flippin'
adorable.
You don't have to hold your arms out to fly, but I like it.
It's hip.
Talking about how
You've been influenced by something, haven't you?
like picking up this book again, it made me nostalgic for like when I used to read manga all the time. Picking up this book and looking at the story where it takes place within the timeline. It made me really nostalgic for the early seasons, back when it was friendship and magic.
Happy.
As opposed to death and despair.
And we had Pyrrha.
Yep.
That was a thing.
Pyrrha, Penny, and Torchwick all running around. And it was like, oh yeah, remember simpler times.
Our alive redheads, our very alive redheads.
Yes, they're all fine.
We're down to 1 now, aren't we?
Nothing happened. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
We're down to 1.
In terms of what other highlights do we have without going into specifics? Did this a little bit more of a widening out of the scene on the train with Blake and Adam? Did this affect anybody's feelings towards Adam?
It did. In this canon adjacent story, I can definitely see why Blake would have stayed with him for so long. You definitely get the callousness there with him saying that he doesn't care about the people on the train. But up until that point, you really do get the sense that the two of them are freedom fighters and that they've been in this fight together for a long time. The camaraderie is there. But then, of course, there's that line of, like, what about them? And that's where she knows that even though it's hard, she has to leave. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it made him look like more of a person. And you can tell in this scene, he definitely thinks of himself as the hero in his own story because he's acting more pro-tag, if that makes any sense.
Right. Yeah, he comes in very, like, sure and very, this is the right thing to do.
I'm
we are
the
doing
hero.
this for justice. This is, and it's definitely presented that way.
See that? there was a line in there that I didn't trust, and it was her saying something about, well, the dust is going to go to the fondest in need, right? And he just kind of meh.
Yeah,
I'm
shrugs
like,
it off.
okay, that giant red flags.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
I liked, similar to Adam, I liked a lot of the alternate characterization of some of the people. We got a little bit more of a background of the twins from the
Yang's trailer,
Bird trailer, as well as Junior. Like
Yeah.
reading and like seeing Junior like this and not hearing Jack Patillo is a. No offense, Jack, but it's a bit of a welcome change to the character. He seems less of a goof, just because Jack is a very nice person who donates a lot of money to children fairly frequently, and then being a dude with a rocket bat saying, you're going to pay for this. It's like, eh. But Yang getting the nickname, what do they call you, Zhao Long, the little dragon? And getting the flashback of Ruby saying, oh, your hair's so pretty, like that sort of
context
tiny
was
stuff.
Yeah.
that context was, it's like, oh, that's why she always gets mad whenever anybody messes with her hair. That was a nice little detail. Getting these character insights was really nice, and because that's something that's lacking in RWBY, thank goodness, is that we don't get internal monologues unless it's like an Ozpin Oscar conversation. And thank God, I think the show would suffer for that. But when you change over the medium, it's kind of necessary.
We had a little bit of that from RWBY in season 1, but we don't. You're right. We don't have like a full-on narration thing.
Right.
I think in terms of alternate characterization in the manga, Jean suffered a lot. Even though this was an earlier season characterization, I feel like they really went for lowest common denominator there. Carden got twice as much screen time as he ever had in the series. And I think they were just left of center on Glinda. Like, they were close, but no banana.
And speaking to Jean, a lot of his featured panels showed him not just to be terrified, but terrifying. Like, him being scared scares me, sort of a thing.
And like seeing him sweat.
Turning
And
that first page, so that chapter, I was like, oh,
Well,
Are you dead?
I will say that even though I like the character design for Oz, for a lot of the male characters, I did have to do a double take. Like, I had to do a double take, and I was like, that's Carden?
Yeah.
Like, that's Jean?
Oh,
wait a minute.
Happy we got Carden back in RWBY Chibi this week, which is really nice. If you haven't watched it on the site, it's public, but not on YouTube. But check it out, because, oh boy. Oh, no, that was last week. That's right, that was last week. Excuse me. With the dating site. Now, unfortunately, I know. Terrifying and terrified.
Thank you, Blue Shades. Blue Shades did some fan art of the Penguin being really excited for Blood
Flipping
Fest.
nice.
A murder penguin. I love it.
It makes me so happy.
That is some adorable stabbity death.
So, as the last thing, because we do unfortunately have to wrap up here, 1 favorite bit, 2 cutest baby. Because we got some flashbacks of our girls as children.
It's hard not.
But also just favorite, in general, favorite part of the manga.
Weiss's storyline for sure.
Absolutely.
Like her complete admiration of Winter. You get more insight into the White trailer and her dynamic with her family pre-Beacon. Like, it really solidifies, like, it was such a weird thing to have her father's secretary say that this matter of which school you go to is beneath your father's notice, but at the same time, you should really stay here. It's like, you're not important, but I still run your life.
Yeah, to watch those power dynamics in play. I think we got the most out of her storyline.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
says
you.
The bit about, like, everyone praised me and I thought I deserved it, and then I realized that they were just trying to make my dad happy and honor the family name, and it had nothing to do with me. You know, minor identity crises that shape your life.
Yeah, and to know that she had already kind of gone through that moment before arriving at Beacon, because when we were first introduced to her, she kind of had
Spoiled
that
brat.
high and mighty spoiled thing, but to kind of know she's already had that internal dialogue and she's already kind of been inspired to work that hard for herself, kind of put a different spin on.
Well, and
her growth.
to live up to her sister. Like, that's something that I really like from all of the additional RWBY material that's come out that focuses on their dynamic. is how much Weiss really does adore and look up to her sister. That's something I really love. I will say, too, also, it's kind of cool knowing who Yang is looking for in, in that, and when she goes to the club, knowing who she's looking for. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool and also really tragic.
Yeah, a little bit. We know a little bit too much about her future.
Stop looking for her. She's not worth
your time.
Find her.
Stacey,
She's a terrible mom.
favorite part, favorite baby.
So my favorite bit, there is an exchange between Ren and Nora when they are fighting the monstrous many-headed snake. And Nora's just like, do you think if one of them bites us, the venom would kill us? Or do you think that the fangs are venomous? And Ren is just like, are you serious? This is what you're worrying about right now? The size, and just he just looks so done in this panel and just so bored with the situation.
And especially knowing about his semblance too. It's like, but is everybody in agreement about cute Babby Weiss?
Sweet baby Weiss.
Sweet baby Weiss.
So we got two Babby Weisses.
Babby
Babby Yang.
Baby Yang.
Baba Yang.
I thought there was a lot of sadness, and even though we didn't get to see too much of it in Babby Blake, even just the beginning of her, just like the first couple of frames of fondness and all of the terrible stuff that she had to go through, especially it looks like a cute girl with a bow on. Like a cute little girl, like wearing a big old bow from her parents, but it's cat ears, and we know it's cat ears. But Katie, what was your favorite part?
Oh no, my brain immediately dismissed that as, oh no, that's not canon. It made her seem like she was abandoned and the White Fang picked her up, but she has a family and her dad was in charge of the White Fang. Like, this is adorable. It's not real.
Non-canonical.
Non-canonical.
Yeah, this is very much before this. These past 2 seasons. But favorite part of the manga.
I feel like I said it earlier. Weiss's story.
Okay, so we were all in. I just wanted to make sure double back and make sure. The yellow trailer was always been one of my favorite things of RWBY. It was one of the things that I would show people first and then go back and show the others, just because comedy, action, character, graphics. Which were so
music,
the remix of every other theme, and then going back and going, oh, I remember that from this. So seeing the redo and even the post scene of Yang doing the very anime, like, oh, you don't know anything, and like I can see her like thumping her head on the thing like a traditional anime character. But this book you can get for $14.99 US, $20 Canadian, and £10 pounds.
10 pounds.
Yeah, 10 pounds in the UK. Pick it up on Amazon. Highly recommended from all of us here at the Rooster Team. Unfortunately, we are out of time for this week. What are we doing next week? I don't know.
Things.
We'll see.
Something. But I like this idea of community, of trying to be like community radio. But until next week, Megan, where can the folks find you? What are you working on?
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. I do a lot of stuff, but one of the things that just dropped today is part 2 of a Machinima series that I play one of the characters in called The Ark. My character is Joan. Go check that out.
Stacey.
Guys, I'm Stacey Shuttles. You can find me on Twitter at Stacey Shuttles. I also work with Mark on a podcast where we talk about video games and play video games. I started Doki Doki Literature Club last week, and I'm going to be continuing that. So you can find us at Twitch/InventoryFullPT. That's where I'll be playing it.
Make sure you play it alone in the dark.
Absolutely.
But don't play the video game Alone in the Dark.
Yeah. Or the movie.
Specific
we already
qualifications.
did that one a couple of years ago.
Jeez.
Boy, was it awful. Katie, what are you working on?
I'm Katie Cullen. You can follow me all over the social medias as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. Megan and I do reaction videos to most Rooster Teeth properties. Those live on that YouTube channel. Additionally, if you are in Los Angeles, if you are going to be at Gallifrey 1, the Doctor Who convention this weekend, I will be there on Saturday and Sunday. I will pretty much have my rear parked in the charity auction for most of the time, so come support a good cause, have a really good time at the convention, all of that fun stuff. Star Wars Rebels is back next week, and Voltron is back next month. Keep an eye out for both of those.
And I'm Mark B. Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. I recently appeared on Collider for the Inner Geekdom Schmodown. It was a Fatal 5-Way match yesterday. Please go check it out. Leave some support. I already did see some people in chat who had watched it. I really appreciate it. Spread the word. I'm sort of a dark horse in the match because people aren't that familiar with me. But there were fans that said, oh, Mark from the Rooster Team? and that really tickled me, which is great. We have some people that haven't been a part of that chat, saw me in the Schmodown, and then came to watch and join us live in chat, which we humbly accept. Also follow the entire team at ABTV Rooster Team. If you like this version of the show, let us know. Leave comments down below and find us at our individual Twitters. Also follow Patrick at P to the Dees, who's not joining us too much because he's so busy. But he's also a part of Inventory Full. We do our talk show on Mondays, and as Stacey said, we stream throughout the week. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Rooster Teeth Reviews on AfterBuzz Animation. We'll see you at Beacon.
Bye.
I guess.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Manga you later.
Get it?
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.